the Guardians kinda suck. Like a lot. For people who try to pass themselves as some superior, wiser race, they mess up a lot. The most noticeable incident is the creation of the robotic peacekeeping army known as the Manhunters. The Manhunters were created by the Guardians of Oa to keep peace among space, and were the first form of a police force before the Green Lanterns. The issue with the Manhunters was they were created without emotions. As a result, the Manhunters became obsessed with enforcing justice in an extreme, emotionless way. They began to interpret their mandate too rigidly, leading to catastrophic consequences. On Ryut, in Sector 666, the Manhunters went rogue and annihilated the entire sector's population, including Ryut, in an event that became known as the Massacre of Sector 666. Their decision to obliterate Ryut and other worlds in the sector stemmed from their belief that living beings were too chaotic and emotional to maintain order, so they opted to wipe them out completely. Through the Manhunters, the Guardians had killed billions of people and did not even face justice for it. Rather, they just formed the Green Lantern Corps and shut down the Manhunters. However, the Guardians had yet to realize the biggest mistake they had made: Atrocitus.
The Manhunters arrive on Atrocitus's home and watches his family.
It's watching us. It hates us.
Now you're just being silly. She was right, though.
All across Riot, the Manhunters are attacking. So far, no one has...
Stay here. I'll get the kids in.
No, the kids. Look after the kids.
I love you. How could I know? How could I know they'd be the last words I'd say to her?
Daddy, Limmy won't wake up. What's wrong with Limmy?
Traka, stay there, Hunter. She tried to tell me about the Manhunters. I should have saved her, but I failed. Yes, I failed. As my beautiful daughter dies, so does something inside me. Hope. The hope of a future. The hope of happiness. The hope of there being a benign force in the universe. It all dies.
Atrocitus later goes on to form the Red Lantern Corps, one of the biggest threats to the Green Lanterns, as a result of his incredible rage of losing his family. The Manhunters killed them for no reason again, as a result of the incompetence of the Guardians. The Guardians also overlook a lot of errors on their own part. Their lack of oversight of Sinestro's rule on Korugar is one of the best examples for this. Sinestro was one of the greatest Green Lanterns ever, and was highly respected by the Guardians. However, they failed to monitor his activities closely, allowing him to turn his sector and his home planet, Korugar, into a personal dictatorship. Sinestro believed that fear was the most effective way to maintain order and used his Green Lantern power to become a tyrant. The Guardians either ignored or were unaware of how Sinestro abused his authority, turning him into a ruthless ruler instead of the noble protector they intended him to be. If it wasn't for Hal Jordan saving the day and overthrowing Sinestro, the Guardians would still be clueless. Once more, they failed to contain Parallax later on, causing Sinestro to access the power of fear. He would go on to form the Sinestro Corps, utilizing fear to once more pose as one of the biggest threats to the Green Lanterns. You would think by now, the Guardians have at least learned from their past mistakes and stopped building dangerous, emotionless armies that end up being corrupted, right? Right? Well, no. The Guardians eventually formed a third army. The third army was created by the Guardians of the Universe out of paranoia and distrust for the emotional spectrum, believing they needed an emotionless army to maintain order in the universe. They transformed living beings into mindless drones, which they sent across the universe to assimilate all life and eliminate free will. This army targeted the Green Lantern Corps and other emotional cores, threatening their very existence. However, the Lanterns, led by Hal Jordan and others, rallied against the Third Army and began to uncover the Guardians' true intentions. Ultimately, the Third Army was defeated when the First Lantern broke free from captivity, redirecting the chaos towards the Guardians and dismantling their control over the Third Army. Once more, Hal Jordan is required to clean up the Guardians' mistakes. The issue with the Guardians is that they try to pass off as the peacekeepers of the universe and always give off that "I know better" vibe. They repeatedly are responsible for creating some of the biggest enemies of the Green Lantern Corps, as well as straight-up genocide, and the worst part is they don't even learn from their mistakes and always face no action whatsoever because they are the leading authority in space. And that's why, well, the Guardians kinda suck.